Mr. Saar, please.
It is my honor to welcome Zambia's Foreign Minister, Mulambo Haimbe, to Jerusalem, our eternal capital. I'd like to begin with condolences on behalf of the people and government of Israel for the passing of former President Edgar Lungu a few days ago. President Lungu opened Zambia's embassy in Israel. Our thoughts are with the people of Zambia and the President's family. Minister, this is your first visit to Israel. I believe it symbolizes a new stage in relations between our nations, and I'm happy that you were able to see some biblical sites in Jerusalem and in Samaria. These relations go back to Zambia's independence in 1964. Zambia's first president, Kenneth Kaunda, formed relations with Israel and was a true friend. That spirit of friendship continues today under President Ichilama. I commend Zambia for its moral stance alongside Israel in the ICJ, opposing the political procedure against Israel there. Minister, in the past, we had an embassy in Zambia. It was closed a long time ago, decades ago. That was a mistake. Now I'm fixing it. It is my honor and privilege to open a new Israeli embassy in Lusaka, Zambia's capital. I intend to come to Zambia and inaugurate the embassy in August. This important step will bring our nations closer. On Sunday, the Israeli government approved my proposal to appoint Ofra Fahi as our resident ambassador to Zambia. Ambassador Fahi served as our non-resident ambassador to your country in recent years. She has a strong knowledge of our relations, and I'm convinced that she will succeed in her position. In our meeting, we discuss expanding partnerships, including in agriculture, health, water management, and more. We discussed the trauma unit Israel is establishing in a hospital in Livingstone. This will directly contribute to the local health system. Israel is proud to help its friends. Relations between our countries are not only based on common interests, they are rooted in shared values. These are relations between two nations of believers, believers in ancient traditions based on our Bible. Deepening relations with Zambia is part of our strategy for 2025 to strengthen Israel's engagement with the African continent. In the past, relations between Israel and Africa flourished. Unfortunately, they decreased with the years. We are now changing direction. Israel is committed to bringing home all of its hostages. We discussed it in our meeting. Israel has demonstrated that commitment once again in the past week. In two special operations, Israeli forces returned the bodies of two Israeli hostages, Judy Weinstein and Gadi Hagai, and the Thai hostage, Natapong Pinta. In a few minutes, we will hold a ceremony at Ben Gurion Airport to mark the return of his body to Thailand. Israel is serious in its will to secure a hostage deal. There has recently been certain progress. In light of past experience, I don't want to overstate it at this point. But we are interested in reaching a deal which will include a ceasefire. We are committed to bringing all of our hostages home, alive and dead. This morning, Israeli forces attacked terror targets of the Houthis in the Hodeidah port. The Houthis threaten the stability of the Middle East, Africa, and international shipping lanes. They use the civil port for the purposes of terror. They have attacked Israel since October 7th, unprovoked, even though we share no border. They continue to fire missiles and drones at our communities. Israel will continue to fight terror in all forms and on all fronts. On early Sunday morning, the selfie yacht, a PR stunt, was safely brought to the shores of Israel by the IDF. Greta, persona non grata, received food and good treatment. Israel acted in a peaceful manner. I want to be clear, this persona non grata will not be allowed to stay in Israel. Greta departed Israel for Sweden earlier today. Another person departed, and 2 others will leave later today. Member of the European Parliament, Rima Hassan, has so far refused to sign deportation documents, as have 7 others. According to Israeli law, they should be brought before a judicial authority to authorize their deportation. Greta and her friends brought in a tiny amount of aid on their celebrity yacht. They did not help the people of Gaza. This was nothing but a ridiculous gimmick, a publicity stunt, and nothing more. In any case, it's our intention to deliver to Gaza the tiny amount of aid on the yacht that they did not consume. But over 1,208 trucks entered Gaza from Israel within the last 2 weeks. Over 11 million meals were directly delivered to the civilians of Gaza by the GHF on top of it. Finally, we were informed about UK decision to include 2 of our ministers on the British sanctions list. It is outrageous that elected representatives and members of the government are subjected to this kind of measures. I discussed it earlier today with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and we will hold a special government meeting early next week to decide on our response to this unacceptable decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Please, Minister.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Gideon Sa'ar, Excellencies from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and directors within the ministry, and shall I simply say all senior officials present, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by acknowledging with the deepest of thanks your condolences